If the value of b is 0, then the imaginary part will become 0. So wherever the b is 0, you have only a. So then it is called as purely real number. Any number in the form of a plus ib. Well, a and b are real, but ib is not real. We call it as an imaginary number. A and c are the real parts. B and d are the imaginary part. If those two are equal, then we say that two complex numbers are equal. Hello everyone, a warm welcome to one and all. This is your Shruti ma'am lecturing in Vidyashram, the Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. So in this session, we will be starting with the new chapter, Complex Numbers and Quadratic Equations. So let's see the brief introduction about the complex number and algebra of complex number. So what do you mean by a complex number? The number which is not real is usually said to be as a complex number. So how the complex numbers exist? So I'll just give you an example here. So for example, we have an equation x square plus 1 is equal to 0. And suppose I need to find the roots of a quadratic equation x square here, then it is x square is equal to minus 1 or x is equal to plus or minus square root of minus 1. Well, root of negative number is not real. So since this does not belongs to the real number, then what do you mean by root of a negative number? There exists a complex number. So here root of minus 1 is usually represented by I, where I is a complex number. And let's see the definition of a complex number now. A number in the form of z is equal to a plus ib, where a and b are real numbers and it is defined to be a complex number, and I is usually nothing but root of minus 1. So if you square it, I square becomes minus 1. Here I is nothing but it represents a complex number. Any number in the form of a plus ib. Well, a and b are real, but ib is not real. We call it as an imaginary number. Those imaginary number is nothing but the complex number. Now, when you say z is equal to a plus ib, we have two parts mainly here. One is the real part. It is denoted by real part of z or real z, and b is called the imaginary part and it is denoted by the imaginary of z. Suppose I say 3 plus 2i. Now this is in the form of a plus ib. So all complex number is usually represented using the letter z. So suppose 3 plus 2i is the complex number, then real part of z is 3 and imaginary part of z is 2, because it is with the number I. So the number which is with I is called imaginary part of complex number and the rest is called as the real part of the complex number. So here we have to see a very important note, that is two complex number Z1 a plus ib and Z2 c plus id are equal if the real parts are equal to the real parts and the imaginary parts are equal to the imaginary part. That is, if a is equal to c and b is equal to d. So we know that a and c are the real parts, b and d are the imaginary part. If those two are equal, then we say that two complex numbers are equal. The second point says that a complex number is said to be purely real if the imaginary part is 0. For example, I can take z is equal to minus 3, z is equal to 1 by 7, z is equal to root 2. Here you can see the term ib is absent. It is not there. What is ib? It is actually the imaginary part of z. If the value of b is 0, then the imaginary part will become 0. So wherever the b is 0, you have only a. So then it is called as purely real number. Then it is called purely imaginary number if the real part is 0. Real part means the term a is 0. If a is 0, for example, I can say z is equal to I. Z is equal to minus 3i. Z is equal to I by root 2. All these are example for purely imaginary number because you have only the imaginary part. Why? Because the real part is 0. Now, as we come across the addition, subtraction, division and multiplication in the real numbers, we have the same thing in the complex number. So, let's start those algebra of complex number. Now we have properties of addition of complex number. First, how to add two complex number. Suppose you have two complex numbers, z is equal to a plus ib and z2 is equal to c plus id. Then z1 plus z2 is nothing but add real parts to the real parts and imaginary part to the imaginary part. This is how we are going to add two complex number. Now properties. What is the first property says? I'll take the closure law. What does closure law usually says? When you add two numbers, the resultant number must be in the same set. So here, if you are taking two imaginary number or complex numbers you are adding, then z1 plus z2 must also belongs to the set of complex number. Yes, we get a plus c in the form of ib plus d. So therefore, addition property of closure law holds for complex number. The second property you can say is commutative law. So what does commutative law says? When you add z1 plus z2, then it must be equal to z2 plus z1. z2 plus z1 means c plus a, which gives you the value as a plus a only. B plus d is nothing but d plus b. So therefore, commutative law also holds here. The third one is associative law. So what does associative law says? So z1 plus z2 plus z3 is equal to z1 plus z2 plus z3. So this is associative property. Associative property also holds for the properties of addition in complex numbers. Next one, we come across additive identity. What is the identity for the addition? What is the number? When you add to any number, you will get the same number, that is 0. So when you add z1 with the 0, how 0 is denoted in terms of complex number? 0 is in complex number, we write it as 0 plus I0. Both real part and imaginary part are 0. So therefore 0 in terms of complex number can be represented like this. If you take z1, you can take here a plus ib plus 0 plus I0. So you have two complex number. How to add? Add real part to real part and imaginary part to imaginary part. What you will get? You will get same a plus ib, which is nothing but z1. So when you add any number, if the result is the same, then we call it as identity. So for an additive identity, 0 is the additive identity of the complex number. Next we come across a property called additive inverse. So what does this additive inverse says? When you add or subtract any value, it must be equal to the identity. For an addition, the additive identity is 0. What must be added or subtracted to the given number so that it will become 0? You have to take minus z1, correct? z1 minus z1. That means if you have z1 is equal to a plus ib, then minus z1 must be minus a minus ib. So when you add those two, the result will be 0. You can clearly see. So for z, minus z is the additive inverse. And for minus z, z is the additive inverse. So that we'll get the 0 as an identity. As in terms of addition, we come across difference of two complex numbers. Suppose you have z1 and z2 as two complex number. z1 minus z2 can be written in this form. z1 minus z2 is equal to z1 plus minus of z2. That is the negative of the given complex number. Next we have multiplication of complex number. z1 a plus ib, z2 a plus id. How to multiply two complex number using binomial product. So that is how we will product this. How you got this? Let's just see now. So we have a plus ib into c plus id. So we can multiply a to c and a to this. So we'll get ac plus iad. Similarly bc plus I square bd. So here this is ibc we get. So I square value is always nothing but minus 1. So here you get AC plus, if you take I as a common factor, it is AD plus BC, and here it is minus BD. So the term which don't have I separated, then it is AC minus BD plus I into AD plus BC. So this is how you can product. So you can use this as a formula also. Z1, Z2 is nothing but AC minus BD plus I into AD plus BC. So this is how we are going to product two complex numbers. So as you come across the laws for addition, you have for multiplication also. So when you product or multiply two complex number, it is again a set of complex number. So closure property holds there. Even Z1 into Z2 is equal to Z2 into Z1. You can verify it by taking an examples also. So commutative law for multiplication also holds. Associative law is also true here. Z1 into Z2, Z3 is equal to Z1, Z2 into Z3. So associative law also holds. Now coming to the identity for multiplication. So we know the identity for multiplication. Usually, what is the number when you multiply, you will get back the same. Suppose you have Z, then you should get Z. It is possible only when you multiply 1. So 1 will be the multiplicative identity for the complex number. Next, we come across inverse, multiplicative inverse. So for multiplicative inverse, what must be multiplied so that you will get the multiplicative identity, that is 1 by Z. So usually this multiplicative inverse is denoted by Z inverse. So Z inverse is the multiplicative inverse of the Z. So next we come across the division of two complex number. So Z1 by Z2. How to write Z1 by Z2? As usual, you can multiply in the form of Z1 into 1 by Z2, where Z2 is not equal to 0 because it is a denominator. Denominator cannot be equal to 0. Next, we come across an important concept, that is power of I. So what is I? I is actually root of minus 1. So increase the power now, square on both sides. This is nothing but minus 1. Then take I cube. I cube can be written as I square into I. What is I square? Minus 1 and into I, which is nothing but minus I. So I cube can be written as minus I. Next, I power 4. I power 4 can be written as I square into I square. That is minus 1 into minus 1, which is equal to 1. So remember this property, that is I is equal to root of minus 1. I square is minus 1. I cube can be written as minus I power 4 is 1. Similarly, it goes on for each and every value. I power 5 is nothing but I power 4 into I. I power 4 is 1 into I, it is I. I power 6 can be written as I square into I square, or I power 4 into I square, which is 1 into minus 1, which is minus 1. So it goes on repeating for every value after continuous 4 intervals. So from 1 to 4, 5 to 8, 9 to 12, like this it goes on repeating the value. So for every multiple of 4, it is always 1. So therefore, I can conclude I power 4k is always equal to 1. So whatever you take, 4 to 8, 16, multiples of 4. For multiples of 4, the value of I is always 1. Next, for multiples of 4 with 1 addition extra, that is for example for 5, for 9, like that. If it is in the form of 4k plus 1, the value is equal to I. It is equal to I. Next, suppose if it is I 4k plus 2, that is 8 plus 2, 4 plus 2, 12 plus 2 in that form. For example, 14. If you take next 18, if you take, then it is 16 plus 2. Product of 16 is a multiple of 4 and 2 is extra. So 4k plus 2 formation, then its value will be equal to minus 1. And if it is 4k plus 3, then its value equal to minus I. Clearly you can see when you have 3, it is minus I. When you have 2, it is minus 1. When it is 1, it is just I. So therefore, you can replace whenever you get. So for this, I'll just show you an example. Find the value of I power 33, they'll ask you. find the value of I power 33. How to find I power 33? I power 33 can be written as multiplied with the factor of 4 with the remaining term. So how we can write this as 32 plus 1. So 32 is a product of 4. So therefore this is in the form of 4k plus 1, or you can write it as I power 32 into I. Product of 4 is always 1. So I power 32 is 1. So 1 into I, the value is I itself. So I power 33 is I. So like this, they may ask you to calculate the powers of I. So in general, remember this property, that is I power 4k is nothing but 1. I power 4k plus 1 is minus I power 4k plus 2 is minus 1, and I power 4k plus 3 is minus I. So these are the things you should remember. Next, we come across the standard identities of complex number. Whatever the identities you have learnt in your algebra, the same thing is here in terms of complex number. This is the formula in terms of a plus b whole square. What does a plus b whole square says? A square plus 2ab plus b square. So in the same way, you have z1 and z2. z1 square, 2z1, z2, z2 square. You know how to square now, you know how to product now. So this is the identity we can use. This is in the form of a minus b whole square clearly. A square minus 2ab plus b square. This is in the form of a plus b whole cube. This is in the form of a minus b whole cube. This is in the form of a square minus b square, which is nothing but a plus b, a minus b. That is sum of two complex number, difference of two complex numbers. So next, we come across few types of questions which may carry 1 marks in your examination. That is, express the following in the form of a plus ib. We know all the complex number can be expressed in the form of z is equal to a plus ib, where a is the real part, b is the imaginary part. So let's try to solve this. This can be written as minus 5, I into I becomes I square over 8. We know the value of I square is minus 1. So substitute here. If you put I square is equal to minus 1, minus 1 into minus 5 is 5 by 8. Now you can clearly see you have only the real part. So that is 5 by 8 plus I into 0 you can write. So when you will get only the real part, when the imaginary part is 0. So therefore this has been expressed as in the form of a plus ib. That is, a is 5 by 8, b is 0. Next we come across 2 plus I3 plus minus 6 plus I5. So just write this 2 plus 3I minus 6 plus 5I. 2 minus 6 is minus 4 plus 8I. So you can express here a is equal to minus 4, b is equal to 8. So therefore this is in the form of a plus ib or a plus bi. Next we have I power minus 39. How this can be expressed? Now I power minus 39. So you can write this in the denominator in the form 1 divided by I to the power 39. Find the nearest multiple of 4 there. Which is the nearest multiple of 4 there? That is 36. So how I can express this now? 1 divided by I power 36 into I to the power 3. Remember, multiples of 4, I value is always 1, and I cube. What is the value of I cube? It is minus I. So therefore it is minus 1 by I. Because I power 36 value is 1 and I cube can be written as minus I. So the value is minus 1 by I. But here I need to express in the form of a plus ib. That means I should be in the numerator. So for that purpose, what I'll do here, I'll multiply I, divide by I. So then this can be written as z is equal to, so here I into I is again I square, that is minus I by I square, which is nothing but minus I by minus 1, which can be written as I itself. So therefore z is equal to 0 plus 1 into I. So if you have only I, that means the value of b is 1 and real part is 0. So therefore we have expressed as 0 plus 1 into I. So yes, in today's session, we have learnt about complex number. Any number in the form of z is equal to a plus ib, where a is the real part and b is the imaginary part, is nothing but the complex number. We have learnt its properties and the powers of I and how to express it in the form of a plus ib. We'll meet you in the next session with few more concepts of complex number. Until then, keep watching, keep learning and keep exploring. Thank you.